Right now, though, very pleased to have with us from Buckeye Farms Association and member of the NRA's Board of Directors, Linda Walker is with us. Linda, good evening.
Hi, Cam. How are you?
I am good. What the heck is going on in Ohio these days, though?
I have no idea. It must be in the water or something.
It's crazy. I mean, is it full
where do
moon?
we start?
Okay, so I want to start with this story out of Lakewood, which is, now this is a suburb of Cleveland, right?
Oh, yes. It's in Cuyahoga County.
Okay.
So it's got to be in the water.
Okay, so there's a woman named Francesca Rice, who is a veteran, who is also a gun collector.
Yeah.
Both of which I think are still legal in Obama's America. It is okay to be a veteran, and it is still legal to collect firearms, but for whatever reason, and we still don't really know why, almost a year ago, last September, the Lakewood police paid Francesca Rice a visit. She wasn't home.
Right.
They asked an employee of the apartment complex where she lived to open up the apartment without her consent. Once they went inside, they took 13 firearms worth around $15,000, and they had no reason to.
Yeah, and they didn't have a search warrant either.
Yeah. Okay, so here it is almost a year later, Linda, and Francesca Rice doesn't have her guns back. She doesn't have an apology. She doesn't have anything.
Right. And we don't know a whole lot about this case. Us at Buckeye Firearms just came across it yesterday. There was an article in the newspaper. And it's a shame that, we didn't know about this 11 months ago, because I think probably between Buckeye Firearms and the NRA, we probably could have helped her get her guns back a whole lot faster. So, the information we've gotten is from the two news reports, and then I was able to find, I'm not an attorney, I don't know how to say this word, it looks like Replevin, summons in action in Replevin. I think that's probably a fancy word for it. There's going to be a hearing on September 7th because she has sued the city of Lakewood and the Division of Police and the police chief, Tim Malley. And so there's this hearing, I guess, on September 7th at 3 o'clock in the municipal court.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not a lot more details out there right now.
Yeah.
And I can't believe this didn't make the news 11 months ago.
Me too. I mean, this was the first that we're really hearing about this.
Yeah, so, I don't know if she didn't make a big stink about it 11 months ago or what, because I can't imagine her attorney would have sat on this for 11 months. So
right.
So,
well, I guess at least the information is getting out there now, and we can start to cover this case. But it just seems unbelievable. You're right. No, apparently no search warrant, no arrests, no charges, no nothing except confiscated firearms, and you can't get them back.
Yep. So I believe a whole bunch of our constitutional rights were violated.
I think you're right. They may call Lakewood Ricewood after she gets through with them. All right, now we've got another story out of Ohio. This time, the Hamilton, Ohio Journal-News.
Yes.
I hate these stories, Linda. I really do. The Cleveland Plain Dealer has done this before for everybody. But a local paper there has done a big front page story last Sunday, printing the names and the pictures of 12 politicians and local officials who are concealed carry holders.
Yes, they did. And, unfortunately in Ohio, in our law, yet, it still exists where journalists can go into the sheriff's department. They can view the records of who has a concealed handgun license. Now, they can't make copies. They can't go in and, make a Xerox copy or take a photograph or whatever. But I guess, if you're looking for specific politicians' names, it's going to jump up at you that, yes, they are on the list. Mm-hmm. Reading the newspaper accounts on this, the only thing I can say about it is she did take the steps to actually interview these politicians. But, this hasn't been a problem since the Sandusky Register had listed names of licensees. Oh, gosh, that's probably been about 3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
So this is the first newspaper that has done this that we're aware of since the Sandusky Register. We thought this problem wasn't really much of a problem, and this one's kind of brought it back to light. And now we're going, well, maybe we need to work on this and get rid of that part also. Journalists, for goodness sakes, why in the world are they the ones who can go in and view our records?
Well, exactly. And, I've had this discussion in shall issue states and in may issue states, and I think a better case, I won't say it's a slam dunk case, but I think a better case can be made in may issue states that journalists or even citizen journalists, bloggers, whoever, should have access to these records, because again, you're talking about a system in which there is some level of individual accountability as to who gets a license and who doesn't. In a shall issue state, look, if you meet the statutory requirements, then you are a concealed carry holder.
Yeah.
And so there really, I don't feel that there should be any need or reason for journalists, and that includes me, to have access to the names of concealed carry holders.
Absolutely.
If you want to do a story about the changing demographics of right to carry, or the percentage going up or down, you can get that statistical information, and I think that should be available. But any individual, look, it's a concealed carry license. If you tell people, hey, this person has a concealed carry license, then you are taking away their decision to carry concealed.
Exactly. I am an NRA instructor and have instructed well over 1,000 students, and I feel I've got a fiduciary responsibility to my students not to be broadcasting who's come and sat in my classes. We've had a lot of women who have been violated, and maybe they're coming for their own protection from, an abuser. And we certainly don't need this public. It's our own self-defense, and by golly, they need to not be advertising who's got their licenses.
Yeah.
The legislature, I know we've got several senators and representatives who carry, and I believe Jenny had Representative Ron Mag on this afternoon, and he had mentioned that they were going to run a bill where the politicians can carry wherever they're politicking at, the state house, or if you're a trustee or whatever in the local buildings. So we'll see where that goes to.
Yeah. All right. Now, one final topic, and it's been a while since we first discussed this story, but in Canton, Ohio, there was an officer caught on tape a couple of months ago, not just berating a concealed carry holder for, a little bit of background information. The guy gets pulled over. Never really given the opportunity to tell the officer, hey, I have a concealed carry license and I have my firearm on me. And when the officer discovers this, the officer begins berating, yelling, ultimately threatening the life of this concealed carry holder. We learned afterwards that was not the first time this officer had been in trouble for a violent outburst. Now it looks like there's, a third occasion, Linda?
Yeah. This one just broke recently. Case happened, or the dash cam was December of last year, and the officer we're talking about is Officer Daniel Harless. And this situation, the officers, it was dark, they were following this car for several miles. And one of the people that was in this car, his name is Stanley Pearson. Well, Pearson and Officer Harless had a altercation, I think it was in 2003, long time ago. Pearson actually had bit Harless' finger. But this guy was in the car, and when the cop discovered that he was in the car, the things in which he said to you, and I've got the quote here of what he said, it was, "I'm not even going to dance with you. I'll shoot you dead this time. If you ever think I'm joking, I'll put you in your grave this time. If you scratch your balls, Ron, I'm going to pull my gun and I am going to shoot you." Well, now News Channel 5, which must be up from the Canton area, has obtained 700 pages of records.
700 pages?
Yep. On Officer Harless, he's had 18 internal affairs reports since 2000. Of course, 15 of them were exonerated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, this guy's a loose cannon. Thankfully, well, he's on administrative leave, which means he's probably getting paid while he's on administrative leave. But, you know, this is the type of guy who is going to kill someone innocent.
You know, and I understand that the concealed carry holder in question, City of Canton, is still pursuing charges against him.
Yeah, and that's on the notification. Yeah, and what a sad situation. This man had his license for less than a month. You know, remembering back to those days when you're brand new to carrying and it's all new to you, and from indications he attempted to interrupt the cop and was told to shut up. Well, our law also states that any command from an officer we must obey. So, did he notify?
Yeah.
Did he obey?
Well, you know, it's going to be interesting. I guess the trial starts October the 6th. If the dash cam footage is allowed to be shown to those jurors, I don't want to predict the outcome of a trial, but I sure hope that they get to see that dash cam video.
Yeah, I do too. All of them.
Yeah.
Because there's many of them out there.
Absolutely. Hey, Linda, thank you again for coming on the program. It is great talking to you, and hopefully we'll get to see you here before too long at the NRA board members meeting.
Yes, I'm counting down the days. I'll be there the 13th to the 19th. So,
all right.
Hopefully we can catch up, or maybe we can do it in studio.
That would be fantastic. Linda, thank you again,
You're
and
welcome.
we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, Cam, thanks.